I have noticed that my tea tastes completely different when I am relaxed and present versus when I am rushing about. Yep, okay. And Kathy, to learn how tea is a spirit and can work in our lives. Amazing, amazing. I'm so glad that that is calling you forward already, all of you beautiful people. Okay, so let's take a moment. Let's ground into this space. Taking a deep, deep breath and honoring the presence of the pure divine light, which is also the essence of your being. Connecting with your heart, which is where tea, spirit's transmission enters through. So let yourself relax into this space, surrendering to your cosmic magnificence here. Feeling the earth that is supporting you. And let that energy from the earth weave its way up through your spine, one vertebrae at a time. And let the light and energy all meet behind the heart, that space between your shoulder blades. Let the cosmos pour in here as you open the door just a little bit wider. Let that cosmic light enter and pour right into the chamber of your heart. And in this moment, I honor the presence of my masters, the masters of my masters, the ascended masters, angelic vibration, and the presence of the pure divine light. I honor the presence of Tea Spirit for bringing all of us here today, sharing in our love for nature, for truth, for love, for wisdom, indigenous wisdom, peace. And we shall use water to clarify our hearts. And in this beautiful moment, we're going to call in tea as an ally to enact the Dharma. We will wash away the 9 mortal bonds that lie dormant within us and shatter the fetter of lassitude. We will await the first peal of springtime lightning, listening as its rumble fades in the northern gardens of our hearts. And we will pluck numinous tea buds atop Vulture Peak as the mists envelop the mountain. May the announcement of this Dharma assembly, this beautiful moment, let the fruits and the flowers of this transmission here today serve the highest good and only the highest good of all. And let this be heard by the entire cosmos, all beings on planet Earth, and all beings that are present here in this space now. We are blessed and so grateful and happy. And let us all feel into the truth that the Dharma is tea, tea is the Dharma. And the 10 worlds in their entirety are all the true mind. For awakening is a dream, dreaming is awakening. May the infinite beings occupying all levels of consciousness all turn toward enlightenment. Thank you. Blessings and great joy to all. Just coming into the comment sections here, beautiful. So this is beautiful because I really wanted to share my perspective and my experience working with what the world knows as tea. Bless, bless, bless. How was that for you? How was the consecration? Did you feel the presence of tea spirits? Let me know. For we are not sitting here today, an ideal situation would be for all of us to sit in a ceremony and really allow you to experience and integrate the power of the tea ceremony activation that I do. But we are completely in the presence of tea spirit, as I called her in, and with you acknowledging her presence allows the transmission to start to weave together, because we are all interconnected. It is quite often said very, very loosely and almost, without much thought behind it, but truly, I am you and you are me. If you take a moment to feel into the energy that I'm streaming through, you will absolutely understand more than the mind trying to hear what I'm saying. So a lot of you here are expressing that you have never really known tea spirit, and that, like Phoebe is saying, I didn't know it has a connection to spirit. Firstly, I want to feel into what spirit means for you. What is spirit for you? And before we begin, I'm going to share a little bit about myself, so you know where I'm coming from when I'm sharing about tea, when I'm talking, when I use words like spirit, God, source, Tao, just in case you've never heard about it before, especially Tao. So you know my name, Li Ying, and I am born in Malaysia. I am I suppose my nationality is Malaysian, but I am fully Chinese, and I grew up very much with the culture and the experience of being Chinese, mainly from the post-cultural revolution times. So what that means is that a lot of things that I was raised to believe in and raised to honor and follow is the experience of being highly successful, highly, like a high achieving student and then a high achieving career woman. All of that really led me very, very far from who I was really born and naturally felt to be. As a child, before I became aware of those conditioning, I really loved and adored walking through fields and talking to flowers, talking to plants, and actually really I had a memory of having them talk to me as well, and I remember there were moments when I was at school and I would actually just sit out in the field and talk to the trees and the flowers, and then gradually I mean, it was such bliss to do that, you know? There was no inhibition. I mean, I feel so emotional thinking about that version of me, that little girl. We would sing and we would talk, and there were all this magic of earth that was very real and alive for me. I'm sure I'm not alone in this. If you ever felt that when you were a child, let me know in the comment section. And as with all children who go to school, I started to notice that people were laughing at me. My fellow classmates were laughing at me, and then there were people who started to talk about me behind my back, and I eventually felt that, oh, is there something wrong with me, the way that I operate, the way that I speak with plants and things like that? And eventually I realized that if I needed to fit in, I can't do certain things. I couldn't do certain things like talking to plants. And so I shut that down. I also very intentionally shut off a lot of my sensitivities. And I lived in that way, really living by someone else's yardstick for a long time. Whether it was my friends, the way I can fit in, the way people operate, I was very sensitive to all of that, and I used that to kind of tailor myself according to what they feel is lovable and acceptable, right? Yes, Rebecca, exactly. That went on for a long time, and eventually I found myself with my first love. I met him in university, and that was the first time that I began to realize that I need to adjust myself to fit into what I think is lovable. And so I say in that way because I want you to know that it wasn't something that was imposed on me. It was just in my head that felt like, oh, I need to be a certain way to be loved. And so that led to an eating disorder because, to be honest, if I look back now and if you ask me like what really ignited that, it was really a sense of very low self-esteem. And I sought a way to hide that, and the way to hide that was in my head. I was thinking at the time I could hide that through the way I look physically, and to be thin means that nobody can criticize me no more, nothing like that, right? But of course it was just being caught in a very, very evil and vicious cycle because it was just never enough. So I started to get into a very, very serious case of anorexia. I eventually had to be hospitalized and hung up with IV drips. I remember the nutritionist was saying, you know, you have a body constitution of someone in her 70s when you're in your 20s. And so I lived a life like this for a long time. I wanted to share that with you because it haunted me for about 10 years of my life. And so it wasn't until my 30s that I actually realized that I really need to make a decision whether to really live or continue living in this way and eventually die from it, living in fear all the time, holding myself back, you know, protecting myself and guarding myself, you know. And of course, you know, the decision came because I literally was found, you know, I found myself with a really mysterious case of thyroidism, and that nobody could really solve. And at that time I really knew, I think my heart was speaking very loudly to me that it really is something related to the way that you are treating yourself, the way you're stressing your hormones and all of that. And so flash forward to the second life I was given. I found myself living in Hong Kong. I had the opportunity to start fresh all over again, which means being in a city where nobody knew me. I started to recover, and when I fully recovered, I found myself in this beautiful place of having this practice of meditation and yoga, and then eventually finding that there was a calling for more in me. There was a calling in me that felt like you have a greater purpose, but I didn't know what it was. So I sent a prayer out to the universe at that time. I said, universe, show me what I've got. Tell me what it is, because I don't know what it is. Show me the path forward. And then from there, I was very swiftly given an invitation, because I worked in media back then. I was a senior digital content manager for a well-known English newspaper. And I was writing about wellness and beauty and fashion and all the luxurious stuff. And they invited me to a tea ceremony. And I went thinking, I love tea. You know, I drank herbal tea at the time, very much so. And, you know, if there was any Asian tea, I think it was only green tea from Japan that I drank. And then I thought, you know what, I love tea, why not? And then I found myself in a beautiful tea room, very much like the one that we are sitting in. And they were serving a type of tea that they said is Chinese tea, that you may know of as pu'er. And we were drinking out of bowls. And as a Chinese, I've never drank tea like this before. I never had a meditative moment. Like, I never related tea in that way. Tea for us is a very social thing. We drink it at dim sum restaurants. We don't really sit in that way. And boy, oh boy, so I knew so little about tea. And at that moment when I picked up the bowl of tea and I started to drink from it, I heard this beautiful tea spirit speak to me for the first time. Drop everything you know and go and serve tea. And that was the beginning of my path, my pathless path, and my connection, my relationship with tea, and the great vision that I'm carrying out with tea by my side today. Let me see the beautiful comments that you all are bringing forward. Yeah, Rebecca, I did the same thing. Stop being me in order to fit in. Yeah, no more of that. Let's proclaim that right here. And this is really one of the really important things that I bring forward in the work that I do, mentoring multidimensional women like you, is that we have to first and foremost recognize how unique we truly are. And listen to this, and see that other people also have the strength, the discernment, the power in them to recognize the power in us. We don't need to coerce them or prove to them or seek for their validation, because when they see, they see. And these are the people we're calling into our lives. These are the people that we're magnetizing very effortlessly into our lives. And that is one of the core things about tea. Tea really brings forward this beautiful Taoist principle known as Wu Wei, effortless action. And we'll dive into that in a bit. Cat Blue, yes, thank you. I so relate. I have the gift of an autistic brain. Yeah, I am another you, you are another me. Yeah, exactly. And we are all drops of the ocean, and we are the ocean in the drop, right? Lancy, yes, the natural way is how you were as a child in nature. Yes, Rebecca. So went the other way. I gained a lot of weight. I gained 100 in a school year. I've now lost 250. Yep. So this is very interesting, because you can actually recognize the spiritual work that we are here to do in a lot of the physical circumstances that we find ourselves in, when we can truly see it for what it is. So for me, when I was anorexic, I can see now that it's a lot to do with holding myself back from fulfillment. You know, I don't want to ever feel too full was the fear, because then it will stop me, or it will create it will stall me from going forward in life, which was such a big BS story, obviously, right? So I was holding myself back from fulfillment in so many ways. And whereas for Rebecca, you know, when you and this is case by case, obviously, but usually from what I understand, working with women who are very, very tapped into multidimensional, multi-dimensions, when you gain a lot of weight, it is really for you, like your body wants to ground, like it's doing all it can to really ground in and be here and be here and be here and be here, and to hold you down for fear that you're going to drift away, or, like, in other words, escape from being human. And this is where I really want to say is that all of us here, we are this infinite source that came to earth, and it is this beautiful subtle energy that we forget to tap into a lot in these days that we live in, that we start to believe that we are the actors in this film, when actually what we are actually the director of the film. We are the director, we are the actor, and we're here as guests, you know, we're the guests. But we forget that we are the guests. We start to attach to the circumstances, we start to attach to the stories, we start to attach to all the little circumstances, and then we start to believe that these circumstances are determining our circumstances, which is internal, which is, if you really, 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 really see yourself for who you really are, you will realize that you are literally the creator of your life. And a lot of people hide from that fact. A lot of people don't want to know. Even though they know, they don't want to know. Why? Because the moment you actually accept that you are the creator of your life, you are also stepping into full sovereignty, full ownership of your life. No longer are you able to blame someone else for something that you can't do or you choose not to do. And that scares a lot of people. And they would rather go back to sleep. However, if you are here tuning in and listening, I fully trust that you are wide awake already. And you do not want to go back to sleep. Right? The door is round and open. Do not go back to sleep. Also, Rumi. Take a moment to recognize that your breath, it is enlivening you. It is enlivening you. So, in the spirit of May, just tapping into you right now. Yes. Yes, exactly. May is saying such an impactful change. I just turned 30. Amazing and huge shift of my mindset and refortifying my relationship to spirit, which really transpired through the tea ceremony. So grateful to be here with everyone and to honor the divine light of tea wisdom, the divinity that is around us and within us. Yes. I have come to this understanding that everyone is on their own journey and accept them wholeheartedly. Exactly. So take a moment to tune into this transmission, everyone. Tea as a feeling portal, ceremony as a key to open the door to the 0-point field, where all paths lead to one, where limitlessness, the infinity, is truly experienced by you, through you, as you, and for you. Take a deep breath, feel into that. Before we dive into the ceremony, before we talk about tea spirit, I want to be very clear about something here. When I honor tea, I honor the indigenous origin of tea. I honor the power of this conversation where we can start to really decolonize the aspects of tea, understanding tea as one with nature, and understanding you are also one with nature through tea, and thereby decolonizing your mind, your body, your spirit as well. What does it mean, decolonize? We have lived through centuries and centuries and centuries of colonization, whether you are the person who comes from the colonized country or the one who colonizes. Doesn't matter. It goes beyond that. Because we all, our ancestors, they resonate through us. So whether you're speaking about this lifetime or previous lifetimes, we have lived through times, and it lives in us, where we still feel the colonization. Colonization is the trauma of running, escaping, fitting in, trying to work in a way that allows you to survive. And then when we deepen into our psyche, the way the mind works, our mindset, our beliefs that limits us, when we think that it cannot be done because someone else told us this, or that we saw it happen before, so it's no way. If we talk about the body, again, like what I shared, the eating disorder, how we should look, how our body should look in a certain way, how we are disconnected from our bodies. We don't even know how to feel in our bodies, right? And then thirdly, with spirit, that spiritual yardstick of following dogma and doctrine, religions telling us what we could do and not do. All of these things are very, very profound and so big that we can't cover here. It is truly this is the whole journey of mentorship with me, because it does take time. However, in this conversation here and now, what I wish to share with you is that when we work with tea that is literally from tea trees that have lived for hundreds and thousands of years, it will land in you very differently versus a tea that you get from a tea bag, for example, which is literally just scraps left over, taken from the main compound of leaves that were used for something else. And sometimes even the quality is not even existent, because it's just meant to be commoditized. So we want to be very clear of what tea we're talking about. When I talk about tea, I'm talking about the Camellia sinensis tea. Mainly Camellia sinensis. Obviously there are different variants, but the tea that we're talking about is the tea that already existed before the word even existed, before humans even walked this earth. Tea that didn't even have a name yet, which is why even my mentorship, I call it the unnamed. This is T. This is Earth. The divine feminine very, very much is present in T spirit. But the ceremony comes in as the masculine energy that holds it all, that gives this spirit a place to shine. And when the human comes in with the full acknowledgement that she is the manifestation of the cosmos, that she is the crystalline channel for cosmic wisdom to come through, that is when the ceremony becomes a powerful transformational field for anyone who comes close to it. Are you hearing me? Take a deep breath and really let that land. A lot of people ask, what method is it? What do you use? What tea do you use? What teapot do you use? It doesn't matter in this context. How do you drink your tea? It doesn't matter in this context. Of course, when you truly want to honor the lineage, when you want to honor the heritage, when you really want to be the one who's out there serving, of course, you have to be initiated. You have to come into the teachings. You have to understand how it works. And more than that, you have to understand the language of tea when she speaks with you. And I remember this until today, every day. When I first went back to the tea ceremony place that I had that divine mandate land in me, I spoke to the woman who served because I knew that I wanted to work with her teacher. I wanted to learn everything. And I remember she said to me, first, begin with coming here every day to drink tea so that you can learn how she speaks in you, how she communicates with you. Then the rest will come. The rest will fall into place. And this is a very powerful energy field that we are working with because it begins within the heart of the server, the host, the wisdom keeper, the one who is serving by listening, deeply listening to the lead of spirit. You're not trying to figure out what your guest wants. You're not trying to, fit yourself into the ideals of what they think you should be like. You're not trying to figure out or force and control the ceremony. Because this field, this energy field moves across all time, all spaces, all hearts. And this, my love, is the way of tea. Are you feeling me? Do you feel the energy of this? Beyond the tools, beyond the forms, this practice is a bridge from the unseen to the seen. For us to experience our true nature, our essence. All of us, as the guest, as the host, whether one time you're the host or another time you're a guest. This true nature can only be experienced and lived. It can never be taught. It can never be taught. And I have come to a place as a mentor to really, really allow the transformation to happen in its own way. Because it cannot be forced. Someone today can totally understand what I'm saying. And another person would say, I have no idea what she's saying. And then 1 year later, they would say, I totally know what she's saying now. Rebecca, amazing. May saying, thank you so much, we feel you. Priscilla, hello, welcome, beautiful, thank you. And everything that we witness in the way of tea. Everything we experience in the way of tea. I can guarantee you will experience and already experience in your life, and the revelations come in your life. This is why I call it a life of ceremony. It doesn't end in the tea room. It doesn't end in the meditation. Everything that is a spiritual work, that is considered spiritual work, leads to the one, Source, Tao, the infinite. And as a multidimensional woman, it is so important that we understand this, because there's a lot of noise out there, right? A lot of noise. How we should be like as a CEO, as a mentor, as a guide, or whatever, as a mother, a daughter, how we should act, how we should be, how we should dress, right? And that is where we must understand that our innate essence, our innate ability to tap into this unseen realm, which is not extolled outside of us, which is not much spoken about in the general space of the world as we know of, as we live in now. Even though we have our communities like the one that we're sitting in here, where we totally want that, we totally get that, we totally love that. Talking to plants, right? But I truly feel that you have to have this really potent level of reverence for yourself, for your ability to be a bridge from the seen to the unseen. The fact that you embody grace and quiet strength, the fact that you can reconnect with the subtle energies, allows you to lead and pave a very, very new way forward, the pathless path, which is the way of tea. And I think this is why the way of tea hasn't really been as popular as something like cacao, right? It's been around for a long time, but a lot of time has been wasted in the infighting of which culture, what bowl, what tea, how it should look, what ceremonial way should I sit, and all of those things. When truly at the heart of tea is this beautiful shamanic origin that is rooted deeply in the wisdom that tea spirit carries. Like the way of tea, a woman flows with presence. If you can feel this, I can tell you, you are deeply rooted in ancient wisdom, that you are meant to be a wisdom keeper. You carry that ancient wisdom and you integrate that and you blossom into your own essence and continue to leave behind a legacy for the future generations. You feel that? And more than ever, in the world that we live in, where everyone is so afraid of the dark, so afraid of uncertainty, afraid of the unknown, afraid of death, you are the one who will walk this path. You are the balance between tradition and transformation. You're the balance between life and death. This is why it's so important to let the mystery unfold, to learn how to let the great mystery unfold. Do you know who you are? Seriously, do you really, really know who you are? Tell me in the comment section. Do you know who you are? Yes, Cat Blue. Thank you, Cat Blue. Okay, no. Perfect. Rebecca, been working on it. What does your heart say? Just answer it. No filter. First thing that comes up. What does your heart say? All of you know it. I said last week in a masterclass that I ran called I Am Inevitable. I said, any question you have, you already have it, the answer within you. Why? Because you are the creator, you are God, you are source, you are the Tao, made manifest in a human form. So any questions you may have, you already are the answer, you already have the answer, because God came before the question. The divine came before your questions. Laura, I am that I am. Rebecca, drop into your heart. Open the heart. Just allow yourself, you don't have to tell me anything, just allow yourself to drop into the heart. And listen with the heart. Lauta, I am pure consciousness. And what does that even feel like, Lauta? What does it feel like? Drop into the heart, listen to the heart, and listen with the heart. Not with the mind, not with theological answers, not with I know that the answer is I am that I am, but fully with the heart. What does it feel like authentically now for you? We are that I am energy, absolutely one with everything. Lauta, amazing, so beautiful. Here's the one thing I can share that you will be able to take with you to further decolonize your spirit, your mind, and your body. And I'm going to say it very plainly. If you are doing spiritual work for a specific goal, a specific outcome, you're not doing spiritual work. You're doing ego's work. If you are meditating to get something specific, like most people in the world are, I want to feel less stressful, I want to feel more relaxed, I want to stop the drama in my life. If you are meditating to get something specific, you are attaching your ego to it, and it is not real meditating. Full stop. How did we come here? To a place where even the spiritual work becomes egoistic. To manifest, to live in a specific way that my mind tells me I can. Well, you know what? What you truly desire, what you feel in your heart, when you tune in with your heart, that desire, that version of you already exists in the infinite field. It already exists. So if you know this, will you still attach yourself to a goal? Will you still think you need to try so hard and change yourself? It's a different energy. Now, if you knew it's already existing in the field, you're walking. You're walking so naturally, just like you would walk from your bedroom to the bathroom, from the house to outside to pick up the newspaper, as naturally as that. That is Wu Wei, effortless action. Stephanie, it feels like peace, absolutely. And let me tell you this is your superpower, inner peace. Nobody can sway you, nobody can take it away from you, nobody can give you more. It works on both ends. And you know what that makes you really shine so bright? What activates your inner light is the deep peace you make peace with. When your peace, when your light triggers someone else. I cannot tell you how many times that I get messages or people who come to me and say, how can you be so calm about this situation? You should be angry, you should be worried, you should be all the things. But once you have that inner peace in you, you know, you walk. You just walk. Because that inner peace, it's founded upon the embodiment of God that you are. The embodiment of pure divine light that you are. And everything I'm saying right now applies to the T spirit. She is always there. She walks steadily. She never forces. She never pushes. She just walks. She's full of love, unconditional love. And when I come into ceremony with tea every day, I come here because I love it so much. And because I love myself so much. I don't make up excuses that I don't have time, or my husband doesn't like that I spend so much time in this room, or I have clients to call, or whatever it is, emails to respond. I just do. I walk from one room to the next into the tea room. I set up the tea space. I sit with tea. I tune into what needs to be said and what needs to be communicated. Sometimes this is just pure silence. Be like water, exactly. It is not lost on me that the irony of the situation where we have this whole quote-unquote wellness industry that is going to project a profit of 1.5 billion or something like that. If we are a humanity of peace and meditative mind, do you think we would actually be sitting here talking about meditative mind, stillness, presence, the divine? If we knew so deeply, we embody our divinity, do you think we'll still be sitting here talking about this? In the Tao Te Ching, it said exactly that. I mean, I can't quote it verbatim, but basically Lao Tzu said, if we had peace, we don't need law to protect the citizen. If emperors were, doing their duty of being magnanimous and a generous ruler, we don't need to fear war. There isn't even talk about war. So there's a lot that we have to really dive into in terms of how we've been conditioned, how we've been told to live, because the original essence is far from the duality that we see and witness in our lives. And the key here is not to ignore it, but rather to see it for what it truly is. It is this continuum where one end can be negative, but on the very same continuum, the other end is positive. So there can be something that we just ignore one side and then just focus on another side. We have to acknowledge all of it. Same goes for who you are. Same goes for acknowledging that you are fully divine and fully human. To Take a deep breath and really bring that in. You know, when we talk about ceremony, we talk about really here in my spaces, I'm really speaking about full presence. Whether you have a tea room like this, or you are just sitting at your desk with a glass of tea, when you are very clear in a way that you are devoting time and space to cultivating spaciousness within you, to allow yourself to commune with a spirit that is very much alive. And like, this is very reminiscent of Shinto, where everything is animated, everything is animistic, everything has a life, everything is sacred, everyone is sacred. It's like May, who said, you know, seeing the divinity in others. It starts from seeing the divinity in you. It starts from seeing the divinity within you. My devotion is devoted to the divine being that I am. And the clearer the channel is, the more presence I am. That energy is available for me to share. You feeling me? Can you feel the energy? I'm just feeling tea moving through me so deeply. I just love it. I love it. And in the ceremony, we don't talk. We allow tea to do the transmission. We allow tea to do this. And this is why I love being in mentorship with women and including the tea ceremony activations, because I am human. I know that. And I want to step out of the way for the transmission to fully land for you and uniquely for you. It can only be lived through you. And so it is far more than a ceremony, a practice. It is a communion with the divine mind. It is an exploration of the infinite field of potential. And for you, a cultivation of a very, very deep intimacy with stillness. And it gives you that power. It activates something in you where you're willing to walk with spirit. You're being led by spirit. You don't know the next step. You don't know whether you can answer the question that your client is going to pose on you, but you know that spirit is with you. You know that you can allow that wisdom to channel through you. This is full power. Yeah? How's everyone feeling? I feel like there is so much going on here. The transmission itself is not just words, but energetic as well. And I am so excited to hear how you're feeling. And so one of the things about tea spirit is that tea spirit lives on within you beyond the bowl of tea. The bowl of tea itself, when you can really open the doorway to the cosmos, you are connecting with the whole fabric of the infinite. You're literally connecting with your ancestors and the generations to come. You're connecting with the light beings. You're connecting with the whole net, the whole weave of existence and non-existence. You're connecting with the Tao. And it's something that you can truly experience on your own in the activation. And then the art that goes into working spiritually with yourself through tea is truly goalless. It is a stripping away rather than putting on and piling on more, or looking to fix, improve, and putting on more stripes and certifications. And this is probably why it's not as popular. Maybe, I don't know. You tell me. Because it's such a lost art. And last year, when I was given this beautiful seed of inspiration from tea to share Cha Dao for the multidimensional woman, it began as a powerful initiation where I started to enrich my clients with as well the power of working with tea in ceremony. And as a woman living a life of ceremony, what does that even mean? How does that feel like? Definitely, tea won't stroke the ego. No way. And that is why a lot of people don't go further. They go to a place with it, and then they just sort of find other things to work with. Other more shouty teas, more shouty plants. And that is fine for tea. Tea doesn't judge, tea doesn't begrudge. One day you might come back and sit with tea again, and she will still be there, just as she is. And that is full presence. Full presence, there is no doubt, no questioning. You already know, you already have the answer. And even if you don't have the answer today, you stay, you deeply listen. You stay in that stillness. Yes, Rebecca. I cannot even say, because absolutely, tea spirit is tea spirit, but ultimately in all the individualities that we're singling out, it leads to the one. This is why I say all spiritual work leads to the one. It leads to the infinite. It leads to source within you. And finding a cosmic order in what seems to the outward gaze like chaos and randomness is truly the power that lies within such a space. This is why I'm so intentional when I work with a client, when I'm preparing a ceremony. Before the ceremony, I already set the sacred geometry of the field. I'm already cleansing the energetic field so that there is a crystalline channel here. This is a space where you get to find your true beingness, doing away all the, the conditionings and the how to, and she said I should be, she told me I should be, he said that I should be. And of course, again, decolonizing the mind, because we have been raised so much to think it's normal to constantly think how we can improve ourselves. In the end, humans are constantly constantly becoming. It's always caught in this becoming, like you're never being. You're just human becoming something other than yourself, or something you think you should be and you're not there yet. Right? So it's very important to really feel this. If you take anything away, just know that this is about embodying your divinity, nothing else. You can work with cacao, you can work with tea, you could work with yoga, you could work with whatever it is, but if it doesn't lead you to your oneness, if it doesn't lead you closer to your divinity, then it's not spiritual work. We are wholeness. And so when you come into a ceremony with tea, all of that, all the she said, someone said that I was taught this, all of that is going to be fundamentally stripped away so that you can be able to feel your truth, hear your voice, and know your sovereign heart so well. You land deeply in yourself, where all the things you've read in a book or where you've been taught in a training, you're not disregarding them, but you're honoring them by fully integrating and embodying them. Because otherwise, what's the point? So let us raise the bar. Let us raise the bar so that we can raise the conversation from merely about how can we fix ourselves, how can we reduce stress, reduce anxiety. Fair enough, but there is a whole other element here that is missing from the conversation about your spirituality. Where is the spirit? Because without spirituality, it's not a complete conversation. You can't be complete without that. My presence is the ceremony. Your presence is the ceremony. Presence and stillness, which is you can call the absence, they come together, yin and yang, forming the one cosmic energy. They come to life here in this sacred space where T-Spirit facilitates that steady portal to move through the eye of the needle into the field of infinite potential. And so, in other words, when you enter the tea ceremony, you enter as a pure channel of light. This is why I begin with an activation where we can drop into no thingness, no time, no space, no identity, no name. Pure consciousness, like Cat Blue was saying. You leave outside this space all that plagues the mind and heart, any past experiences and hang-ups, blames and blame game, victimization, all of that. We become a crystalline channel of light. You have it in you. You don't need to rely on someone else to do this. All you need to know is to practice and cultivate that stillness within you. And this practice of working with tea truly teaches us to become a pure channel, that which is an energetic match to the frequency of God. Take a deep breath. And what is required of you is to trust the leaf, to be your guide, to be your ally, to open your heart. The more deeply you can listen, the more you can receive the transmission that is coming through for you, as you, through you. Yep, raising consciousness. Absolutely. You can become a congruent energetic match to your highest self. This is mastery. This is personal power. This is sovereignty. This is self-leadership. And your life will just completely be transformed. Just like it's done for me. And you can hop on over to my Instagram page. You can see the testimonials of my clients. It's phenomenal. It's absolutely incredible. So, how's everyone feeling? I feel like there's only so much that words can really describe this. And I'm so happy to see so many of you resonating. Kathy is saying powerful. Cat Blue with your beautiful emojis and words, amazing. Any last questions or comments? Drop it in here. Let me know. And this is what we don't talk about tea. We don't talk about tea. We, as women, our relationship with tea spirit is truly phenomenal. And we're only skimming the surface here today. I'm really I just want to say this. I am fearless in holding spaces for the full spectrum of you, for your beingness, because I have tea here. I have tea as my ally. And that is more than enough. And maybe, who knows, one day I would work with other herbs. I will work with other plants. But today, it is very real. I think you all feel very inspired. I'm reading here. Amazing, truly inspired, and feel so reinvigorated. Like, all these are the energies of tea spirit channeling forward. Truly. It's something that I can't even create through my mind. It literally is flowing through me. Lalta, you have a very sublime energy. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Next lives, I come on here very spontaneously, Kat. So stay tuned. Make sure you follow. You'll get a notification when I come live. And for any one of you who truly want to deepen into this work with me, I've opened up spots in my one-to-one luminous mentorship called the Unnamed. This is where you really come into all the transmissions, the ceremony, the activations, the initiations, and we will also have time to practice together. If this is for you, you can check out the link in my bio or drop me any questions in Instagram or here on Insight Timer. I'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you so much. And I'm really, really excited for anyone who feels very, very called to journey on this. It's going to stretch you in all ways. It's going to stretch you emotionally, soulfully, spiritually, mindfully, in all ways. But again, remember, it is truly to strip away and really find that spaciousness within you. And then we get to fill it up with all the things that are essential to who you are. Thank you. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, my loves. Thank you so much. And remember, if you want to catch the replay, it's on the Instagram. Great. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kat. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Mwah. Thank you, beautifuls. I'll see you next time. Blessings.